So here we go, reviewing the Heredity Study Guide. Hopefully you were able to figure out how to fill everything in. We are going to start with the first one. Heredity is the passing of traits from parents to offspring. Genetics is the study of heredity. Genes are the factors that control traits. Remember, genes are on chromosomes, right? Alleles are different forms of a gene. Remember, there's like a dominant allele, recessive allele. Purebred is an organism that always produces offspring with the same form of trait as the parent. Meiosis is the process by which the number of chromosomes is reduced by half, so sex cells can be formed. Remember, this happens with asexual reproduction. Genotype is the genetic makeup of an organism represented by letters. Phenotype is the physical result of a gene combination, like a cleft chin or curly hair, or freckles. Homozygous is the paired alleles for a trait that are identical. So the letters would be identical, capital T, lowercase r, lowercase r. Heterozygous is the paired alleles for a trait that are different. So like capital T, capital R, lowercase r, they're not identical, okay? Dominant is when one allele can mask the presence of another. It's represented by a capital letter. So remember, if there is a dominant trait or a capital letter, then that organism always carries that trait because it's dominant. Recessive is a characteristic that is masked by a dominant allele represented by a lowercase letter. Also, you need to remember that you can have a recessive gene that shows if you have two of that gene. So like two lowercase r's would be dominant. Okay, asexual reproduction is a reproductive process that involves only one parent and produces offspring that are identical to the parent. And this is mitosis. Okay, sexual reproduction is a reproductive process that involves two parents that combine genetic material to produce offspring that are different from both parents, which happens through meiosis. Okay, move this up again. Complete this sentence. What is an advantage of asexual reproduction? So an advantage is that it can happen really quickly because there's no need to find a mate. Or if there's only one left, it can maybe split with binary fission or fragmentation and make more of a species. So a disadvantage of asexual reproduction is that there's rarely genetic variety. There's no introduction or variety between the new offspring created. All right, let's look at the next page. Identify each type of asexual reproduction. Binary fission is a paramecia splits in half. The next example is a potato eye growing into a new potato, a plant shoot, and that's budding. Planaria breaks into three pieces and all three pieces become individual organisms. This is fragmentation. A spider plant sends out a shoot that develops roots and leaves that can live individually. This is vegetative fragmentation. A fern reproduces without seeds. This is spores. A starfish arm breaks off and a new starfish forms from the arm. That's fragmentation. Hopefully you built a Punnett square and were able to answer the questions that are below. So we'll look at that piece together. In cabbage butterflies, white wings are dominant to yellow wings. If a male, capital W, lowercase w butterfly, is crossed with a female, WW, both lowercase butterfly, what are the possible genotypes and phenotypes of the offspring and the percent chance for each? So we put the male on the top with the capital W, lowercase w. Remember the W is dominant, and that would be white, right? The female on the side, two lowercase w's. Remember that's recessive, and because she has both of them, she will have yellow wings. So you always list the capital W, then the lowercase w. If that's possible, remember, so we cross these, and we cross these, and we cross these, and this, and this, and this, just like a multiplication table. The genotypes of the offspring, they have two. There's capital W, lowercase w, and both lowercase w's. This little s means there might be more than one. The phenotypes of the offspring, they have white wings, and they also will have yellow wings. The percentage of offspring that will have white wings is 50%, so half of them have white wings and half of them have yellow, so 50%. Is the male heterozygous for wing color? The answer is yes. Remember, heterozygous means that these are not identical, okay? These are identical, so they're Homogeneous. Sorry, homozygous. Good thing I can talk. Homozygous. So the female is not heterozygous. The female is homozygous. All right. The last piece I asked you to look at was to fill in the blanks with the appropriate terms. These came from your learning targets, right? So our first one was characteristics of mature plants and animals are inherited. You could have also put traits, and that made sense too. I was looking for inherited though, so gold star if you got inherited. Inherited traits are passed to offspring on chromosomes. A Punnett square is used to determine possible genotypes and phenotypes for offspring. Cleft chin is a phenotype, where CC is a genotype. Budding is an example of asexual reproduction. And, oh, sorry, I did reproduction twice. And sexual reproduction requires 2 parent cells. Please make sure that you ask me to talk about anything you're unsure about before you take the test. All right, have fun reviewing.